For the Dallas Cowboys home version to show up on the road. And the home version, as you can see, has not lost a football game and absolutely demolishes their opponents. And the road team becomes sort of the Washington Generals. And they're in the home of the Washington Commanders today. Welcome to NFL Game Day Morning, presented by Lowe's. We know football. Lowe's knows home improvement. It's hour number 3 of Week 18. As you can see, we're going to put the evening game to the tail of the tape. Big game for the AFC East, but we start this third hour with a conversation about the NFC East, and clearly you could see the numbers. We just have set this whole thing up for the question of need. The question of need, do they have to have it? You know, we were talking about last night, win or go home, and the Jaguars are win or go home, and it's entirely possible that the Bills could be win or go home. That's you got to have. Is this a similar situation for the Dallas Cowboys, Michael Irvin?
It's win to go home. Yes, that's what you do. There's win or go home. Dallas needs to win to go home. We talked about the sexiest thing in football when I told you it was that zero. And those victories at home, those 8 victories, and that little zero right there in that card, that was the sexiest thing. Now, this plays both sides, which I really do believe, not just the Cowboys side. Yes, you need to play at home, but also for what you have to do against San Francisco on the other side. San Francisco now is the 1 seed, you're the 2 seed. If you see them, it shall be in the championship game. And you'll give everybody a chance to knock them off before you see them. But if you don't, you got to go to San Francisco. They need this. This is the last opportunity to prove to themselves that they can win on the road, because the narrative has changed. It's no longer beat a good team on the road. You got to beat any team on the road right now, and they need this win.
Okay, so just to repeat, because, again, the important part about going home and getting this 2 seed is you can be at home while you give somebody else the opportunity to knock San Francisco off while you are at home, and maybe you host an NFC championship game and you never have to leave home.
Scooby-Doo. I guess what, Rich? I think you got it.
Well, I mean, while I'm in, the magic machine here, so, or they go on the road, and they might have to be the team to go on the divisional road to go take on San Francisco. So you're saying this has to happen today? This is it. Has to happen.
Right, it has to happen. For the Cowboys to get to where they want to be, their playoffs starts now. And they have to approach this game. And I talked about the big money guys, so it matches up well. They give up so many sacks. That's Michael Parsons. He has to get back there. And they allow so many passing yards. That's Dak Prescott and C.D. Lamb. I put them up for a reason.
I thought you said something really good in there when you were talking about they have to prove it to themselves. Because as good as these athletes are, the best in the world, and you play at highest level, and you've played in big games, there is still a human factor that plays into this. And that human factor is we're not very good on the road. For whatever reason, you might not be able to put your finger on it, but it starts to enter your mind when you have to go on the road. And so a team that's won 3 games on the road all year, we're going to say that they can go and win 3 games on the road in the playoffs against good football teams and make it to the Super Bowl. I don't think that's possible. So if they don't win this game, if they don't get this number 2 seed, roll, Reggie.
Nice.
Wow. It's not going to happen for the Dallas Cowboys. So to me, this is huge.
Roll, Reggie. It's my Scooby.
That was good, Kurt. So I agree. I think they've got to have home field advantage and win 2, and then try to repeat what you just said this year. You go to San Francisco like you did in '92 and knock them off. All right, that's what you said. They're not as good on the road. Well, here's proof in the pudding. I mean, you could give 43 examples. They beat Washington on Thanksgiving 45-10. Wasn't even a game. But last year when they went to Washington, they got beat 26-6, and that wasn't even a game. And it's pretty much the same players. All right? They just got to figure that out. Now, here's the other caveat, because Washington's got nothing to lose in this game, and all the pressure is on Dak and the Cowboys. And let me remind you, this could be could be the very last game for Ron Rivera in Washington.
Right.
Not only is he a good man, he's a good coach. And that team really respects the heck out of that guy. So all of a sudden, Ron is 102 and 102 in his career. You think he wants to go out a loser? You think that team wants him to go out a loser? They're going to do Gatorade on his head and carry him off if he wins this game and screws up your season, right?
Right.
Washington is going to show up. Don't be nervous, Irv.
They are.
Washington
And they're going
is
to
going to give them their best shot today.
Right.
Look out.
They're going to be sitting on routes. Those interceptions you guys showed for last year, they were sitting on those routes. And I hope Dallas says, okay, we're going right by you. They got to come out throwing the ball down the field.
Sherry Burris is already at the game for us, taking you to kickoff of many Week 18 games. Take it away, Sherry.
Well, quarterback Dak Prescott, guys, is on the brink of accomplishing something no other Dallas QB has: lead the league in touchdown passes. 4 of them came against Washington earlier this season. Remember, just last year, he led the league in interceptions. This week, Dak said he never doubted himself, saying this is who he is. And I asked safety Jaron Kearse what's led to Dak's success this season. He told me the big key is the camaraderie with everyone in the locker room. He simply put it to me as, quote, "To be our best, we need Dak at his best." And that is why they are now knocking on the door of winning the NFC East and trying to lock up that 2 seed in the NFC. Now we head to Cam Wolf in Miami.
Sherry, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel has rallied his team behind the power of you can't this season. Players told you can't and proved their naysayers wrong. None bigger than Tua Tagovailoa, who plays his 17th game tonight despite minor thumb and shoulder ailments. Tua hasn't missed a game as a pro for the first time. And McDaniel championed Tua for not getting mad at the narrative that he couldn't stay healthy, instead taking control of his body, trying jiu-jitsu, and ultimately he said it's significant for Tua and the organization. Tua said he takes a lot of pride in it. Tonight, another you can't. A lot of people will say the Dolphins can't win against this Bills team, shorthanded without Jalen Waddle and Raheem Mostert. Another chance to prove them wrong.
So the AFC playoff picture is quite simple. All eyes in Tennessee. If the Jaguars win, they're in as the 4 seed, and the Texans are in as a wild card. And the Buffalo Bills will need to win a football game tonight just to make the playoffs. If the Jaguars lose, the Bills and Steelers are in, and tonight's game is just nearly for who wins the AFC East and gets potentially 2 playoff games at home. It is absolutely huge regardless, and could be even huger if Josh Allen...
In that game, I would have taken the guy with more pass yards, but obviously it's more important to have touchdowns. So in this game, both these guys have been great in their different ways this year, but Josh Allen, to me, has been playing his best football, both with his arm and with his legs at this point. So I am going advantage Bills in this one. Mooch, who you got?
I got running backs, okay? James Cook is really coming on right here for the Bills, but it's lessening the, production for Stephon Diggs. Of course, Josh Allen is the other running back. He's got 15 touchdowns. But the Miami Dolphins now, they used to have a 1-2 punch. Raheem Mostert's probably not going to play, right? So Von Achan, he's a rookie. He's not a track guy. He's a football player that ran track. Speedball all the way. This is the fastest team we've ever seen in the National Football League. He averages 8 yards a carry. That leads the National Football League. So I'm going to give the advantage to the Miami Dolphins. Irv, receivers.
Man, this is interesting, and it's not difficult at all, especially when you got a Tyreek Hill who leads the league in yards with 17-17. Bad man over there. You built a whole system around him, and they win by using him. And then on the other side, Stephon Diggs, the last 4 games, wins, and then only 32 yards a game, no doubt. Put him with Jalen Waddle, even though Jalen Waddle's not playing today. I'm taking Miami 10 times every day and 11 times on Sunday, because that's game day, if you know what I mean. Gerald, what you got, buddy?
When we talk about defenses, I have to give the edge to the Buffalo Bills. These teams have been very similar leading up to last week, but last week, the Miami Dolphins gave up 56 points. And over the last 3 weeks, the Buffalo Bills have given up 53 points combined. Miami Dolphins are dealing with major injuries. They lost the 2 best pass rushers in Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb. Xavier Howard is not playing today. And over the last 9 weeks, the Buffalo Bills have only given up 25 points once over the last 4 weeks. They've given up 17 points, which ranks 4th, whereas the Miami Dolphins have given up 26 points, which ranks 26th. My edge goes to the Buffalo Bills. DJ, who you got for rookies?
Oh, first of all, Gerald, best dressed again. Every time I come here, I feel like Gerald is the best dressed man. I'm looking at a couple rookies here. Mooch already talked about Achane, the job he's done for the Miami Dolphins, but we also have the rookie tight end for the Buffalo Bills in Dalton Kincaid. So in the matchup of rookies, I'm actually going to lean towards the Bills and the tight end. Josh Allen absolutely carved them up in their first meeting this year. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to try and play high. They're going to try and take away the big plays down the field with those wideouts. I think this is a big opportunity for Dalton Kincaid to have a volume game, 7-8 catches in this ball game, and they'll focus their attention to slow down